I'll call the meeting to order. Before we start, let's take a moment and each of us in our own way ask for guidance in the decisions that we'll be making tonight for the county. Okay, thank you. Roll call.
Ken Talbot,
Yes.
Alan Easley is absent. Leon Griffith,
Yeah.
Helen Glass.
Here.
Jay Craddock.
Here.
Ronald Merrick.
Here.
Carol Yeaman.
Here.
Okay. In your package, you have the agenda for tonight. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda? If not, I hear a motion that we approve it.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. You also have the minutes of the meeting of April 9th. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes?
Move to be approved.
All right. Your second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor of approving the minutes as written, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you. Old business?
I don't have any, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. And new business?
We just have the special use permit next month for a solar facility.
And this is one of the big ones. Large scale?
Yes,
Okay.
it's the
All right.
Moon property
Where is it
Right.
located?
in Gretna. The Moon property, Luther Moon.
Lutheran. Where is that?
It's right as you turn on Taylor's Mill Road.
Okay.
Take the first Gretna exit. It'll start out on the right-hand side, and you make that sharp right,
Oh, back
Taylor's
toward
Mill.
the substation and the cemetery at the top?
Yes,
Okay. On this side, on the 29th side of the railroad, or the other side?
it's on the other side of the railroad tracks, on
Okay.
the right-hand side. And then it goes over to 40. So one entrance, you can go through
Okay. yeah.
40, and then it's
Alrighty.
Galveston. Yeah,
Well, we'll hear all about that next month.
yes.
All right, we'll proceed to the public hearing. Ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to Article 5, Division 7 of the Pittsylvania County zoning ordinance, we, the Board of Zoning Appeals, have been empowered to hear and decide specific applications and appeals in support of said ordinance. In accomplishing this important task, we're charged with promoting the health, safety, and general welfare of the citizens of Pittsylvania County. We must ensure that all our decisions and recommendations be directed to these goals and that each be consistent with the environment, the comprehensive plan, and in the best interest of Pittsylvania County, its citizens, and its posterity. Anyone here to speak to the board other than the applicant regarding a case will be limited to 3 minutes. So, public hearing in case S-19-003 is now open. The time is 7:04. Report, please.
Case S-19-003, Stephen and Anita Amos have petitioned for a special use permit on 10,000 square feet located off of State Road 1170 in the Callens-Gretna Election District for an 195 self-supporting telecommunications tower with a 100 by 100 compound. The Planning Commission recommended by unanimous vote with no opposition that the petitioner's request be granted. The staff summary is enclosed in the board packet. Mr. Chairman, Jonathan Yates is here to represent the petition.
Mr. Yates.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Jonathan Yates. First and foremost, and I brought this up at Planning Commission, but I really need to bring it up tonight. This is my first time working here in Pittsylvania County, and one of the wonderful things I encountered were two ladies, Miss Karen, Miss Kathy. During the course of the procedure, I think I asked 101 stupid questions. They never once laughed at me. They were professional and gave me guidance and brought us here tonight, and I want to thank them. Going forward, I also want to thank Steve and Anita Amos. They gave us a perfect property to place this facility on. This is a 30-acre tract off of Callens Road. Steve and Anita bought it from Delano Gregory in 1984. Out of the 30 acres, about 25 acres are almost completely covered with trees, mainly maple and oak. There are about 5 acres that have a little clearing. They have the old home place there. Their son lives in it. Barn, a stable, and greenhouse. Steve and Anita live right next door on Glory Road, next to his sister, who's also with us here tonight. And if you might remember way back, starting in 1975, right there on Callens Road, his father had B.B. Amos Grocery. It later became Donna's Restaurant. Now, if you know Steve, you go there and ask him to open up the garage and you see the most beautiful restored Chevrolet you've ever seen in your life. But we thank them. This is a perfect site. What we're proposing is a 195-foot facility. It'll be designed for between 3 and 4 cell carriers. When I first visited Steve and Anita, it was a pleasure for me because for a while there, no one could get me on my cell phone. I actually had a little break in the action because no one could get me. So the purpose is to provide necessary coverage to the Callens area and to connect to other parts of the county. Why is this important? We're seeing where, for a lot of folks, the cell phone has become very important. Across the United States, almost 50% of households have gone to a wireless-only format. We're also seeing from 911 services across the country that anywhere from 80 to 82% of their 911 calls come from a wireless device. So what we're providing is infrastructure. It's no different than other infrastructure, power, water, telephone, sewer. But the difference with this infrastructure is from a few vantage points, you can cover a larger area. So if you look at our proposal, we're on a 30-acre property. We met all necessary setbacks. Despite the tree cover, we're going to still come back in and plant 28 Leyland cypress along the fence line. We found they grow thick and quick, so do our best to mask the ground of the facility. I'm here for any and all questions this board may have.
Okay, so this will actually be owned by Beacon Towers?
Yes, sir. On a lease from Steve and Anita.
And the first carrier you got is AT&T, or?
That is the hope, yeah. It's designed for them. We wait and see when the carriers are ready, but we want to go and have the infrastructure in when the carriers are ready.
Okay. Questions for the applicant at this time? Anybody? Okay. All right, we may have some questions before we finish.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Did anyone sign up to speak from the public?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. If not, we'll close the public hearing. The time is 7:09. These applications have certainly gotten easier over time, haven't they?
Yes. They did the homework.
All right, since this is the application for a special use permit, our obligation is to identify any adverse effects upon adjacent property, adverse effects that cannot be mitigated through the imposition of conditions. If there are no adverse effects, we're obligated to issue the permit. If there are no adverse effects that cannot be mitigated, we're obligated to issue the permit. Are there any adverse effects of this use that we need to take into consideration?
I don't see any.
I don't know.
Thank you.
No? In the absence of that, a positive motion would be in order, right?
Yes.
Okay, the positive motion would read, whereas Stephen and Anita Amos have petitioned the Board of Zoning Appeals for a special use permit for a 195-foot self-supporting telecommunications tower within a 100 by 110,000 square foot leased compound area for AT&T, and whereas we find no substantial detriment to adjacent property, that the character of the zoning district will not be changed thereby, and that such use will be in harmony with the purpose and intent of the ordinance, I move the special use permit be granted.
So moved. Second.
All right, moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor of granting the special use permit, signify by raising your hand. Thank you very much. Do I hear a motion we adjourn?
Yep.
Thanks for coming out. You still got time to mow grass.